The conference room smelled like stale coffee and old leather. Maya Torres sat at the far end of the table, hands folded, eyes forward. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. Not yet. Around her, 8 men talked over each other, laughed, slapped the table. They were contractors now. Private security for one of the biggest firms in Virginia. Ex-military, most of them, Marines, Army Rangers, Air Force pilots. They wore their pasts like badges, loud, proud, impossible to ignore. But Maya, she was just the new girl. "All right, listen up," barked Derek Kane, the team leader. He was 40-something, thick arms crossed over a faded tactical shirt. His beard was gray at the edges, his voice rough like gravel. "We got a high-value transport coming up next week. Senator's daughter. College kid. Thinks she's invincible, so she'll probably fight us the whole way." A few guys chuckled. Derek continued. "Route goes through the Blue Ridge. 2 vehicles. I want comms tight, eyes sharper. No screw-ups." He pointed around the table, assigning roles. Driver, navigator, advanced scout, rear security. Then his eyes landed on Maya. He paused, just for a second, like he'd forgotten she was there. "Torres," he said flatly. "You'll ride in the second vehicle. Observe. Don't touch anything. Don't talk unless you're asked a question. Got it?" Maya nodded once. "Got it." Her voice was calm, steady. It didn't waver, but inside she felt the familiar sting. The one she'd felt 100 times before. It never got easier. Across the table, a guy named Brock snorted. He was younger than Derek, maybe 30, with a shaved head and a smirk that never quite left his face. "Observe? Come on, boss. What's she gonna observe? How to hold a clipboard." Laughter rippled through the room. Maya didn't react. Her expression stayed neutral, her breathing even. She'd learned a long time ago that reacting only made it worse. Derek didn't stop them. He just shrugged. "She's new. Gotta start somewhere." "Yeah, but why'd they even hire her?" Brock leaned back in his chair, arms behind his head. "No offense, sweetheart, but this isn't a job for..." "For what?" Maya's voice cut through the room like a blade. Brock blinked. The smirk faltered. "I just mean, this is serious work. Real danger. We need people with experience." "Right," another guy chimed in. His name was Kowalski. Thick Chicago accent. Former Army. "What did you do before this, Torres?" "Mall security?" More laughter. Maya met his eyes. Something like that. She didn't elaborate. Didn't defend herself. Didn't list her credentials or wave her resume in their faces. She just sat there. And that somehow made them angrier. "Look," Derek said, standing up. "I don't care what anyone did before. You're on my team now. You follow my rules. Torres, you're low man on the totem pole. You watch. You learn. You stay out of the way. Clear?" "Clear," Maya said. Derek nodded. "Good. Meeting's over. Get out." Chairs scraped. Boots thudded. The men filed out, still joking, still throwing glances her way. Maya stayed seated. She waited until the room was empty. Then she let out a long, slow breath. She'd been here before. Different team. Different mission. Same story. They always underestimated her, and honestly, she preferred it that way. The next morning, training drill started at 0600. The compound was 20 miles outside Richmond, tucked into the woods where nobody asked questions. Obstacle courses, shooting ranges, mock-up buildings for breach and clear exercises. Maya arrived early. She always did. She ran the course alone. Over walls, under wire, through mud. Her body moved like a machine. Efficient, precise, no wasted motion. By the time the others showed up, she was finishing her 3rd lap. Brock saw her first. He nudged Kowalski. "Check it out. Tryhard's already here." Kowalski grinned. Trying to impress somebody? Maya jogged past them without a word. Sweat dripped down her neck, but her breathing was controlled. Steady. Derek blew a whistle. "Line up. We're running the urban assault drill. 2 teams. Brock, you're lead on Alpha. Kowalski, you got Bravo. What about Torres?" someone asked. Derek glanced at Maya. "She'll float. Fill in where needed." Translation, she'd watch from the sidelines. Again, the drill began. Alpha team moved through the mock-up building, boots heavy, voices loud. They cleared rooms with decent speed, but Maya noticed the mistakes. Missed angles. Lazy pie cuts. One guy didn't check his 6. Bravo team was worse. Kowalski rushed his entry and nearly flagged his own teammate with his rifle. Maya watched, silent, taking mental notes. When it was over, Derek gathered everyone. Not bad. Could be tighter. Brock, your second entry was sloppy. Kowalski, you almost shot Ramirez. Fix it? Yeah, Kowalski muttered. Derek's eyes shifted to Maya. You got anything to add, Torres? It was a test. She knew it. He wanted to see if she'd speak up. If she'd try to prove herself, she could. She could tell them exactly what they did wrong, where the gaps were, how to tighten their formation and shave 10 seconds off their time, but she didn't. No, sir, she said simply. Looks solid. Derek's mouth twitched. Not quite a smile. Not quite a frown. All right then, he said. Hit the showers. As the team dispersed, Brock walked past Maya and muttered just loud enough for her to hear. Waste of space. She didn't flinch. She just walked to the armory, cleaned her rifle, and prepared for tomorrow. Because she knew something they didn't. Something none of them had figured out yet. This wasn't her first rodeo. Not even close. That night, Maya sat alone in her small apartment off base. The walls were bare. No photos, no decorations. Just a bed, a table, and a duffel bag in the corner. She opened her laptop and stared at the screen. Her inbox had 3 new messages. One from her sister. One from an old friend. One from a number she didn't recognize. She ignored all of them. Instead, she opened a folder buried deep in her files. Inside were documents, photos, records. Her records, but not the ones the company had seen, not the sanitized version. She'd given them. These were different. These told the real story. The story of a woman who'd spent 8 years in the United States Navy, who'd endured hell to earn her place among the most elite warriors in the world, who'd run missions in places that didn't exist on any map, who'd saved lives, taken lives, bled for her country in silence. The story of a woman who'd walked away from it all and who was trying, desperately, to build something normal. But normal wasn't working, because no matter where she went, no matter how hard she tried, the world kept putting her in a box, kept telling her she didn't belong, kept underestimating her. Maya closed the laptop. She stared at the ceiling, and for the first time in weeks, she allowed herself to wonder, what would happen if they knew the truth? The mission briefing came on a gray Thursday morning. Rain drummed against the windows of the conference room. The same faces, the same coffee, but this time the energy was different. Derek stood at the head of the table with a tablet in his hand. His expression was serious. All business. All right, here's the situation, he began. Senator Patricia Harmon's daughter Emily is coming home from college for spring break. Threats have been made. Credible ones. Someone leaked her travel schedule online, and now every nutjob with a keyboard knows when and where she's moving. He swiped the tablet. A photo appeared on the screen behind him. A young woman, maybe 22, blonde hair, bright smile. Emily's refusing protective detail from the feds. Says it makes her feel like a prisoner. So the senator hired us privately. Our job is simple. Get her from her apartment in Charlottesville to the family estate in Roanoke. 200 miles. Should take 4 hours. We do it clean, quiet, and invisible. Brock raised a hand. What kind of threats are we talking about? Online stalker. Goes by the name Patriot 776. He's been posting about her for months. Anti-government rhetoric. Says the senator's a traitor. Says her daughter deserves to pay for her mother's sins. Derek's jaw tightened. FBI's tracking him, but they haven't ID'd him yet. Could be some kid in his basement. Could be someone serious. We treat it like it's serious. Nods around the table. 2-vehicle convoy, Derek continued. I'll drive lead with Ramirez and Kowalski. Brock, you're driving the second vehicle with Torres and Mendez. Emily rides with me. Comms stay open the whole time. No stops unless absolutely necessary. Questions? Silence. Then Maya spoke. What's our contingency if we get separated? Every head turned toward her. Derek frowned. We won't get separated. But if we do, Maya pressed. Do we have rally points? Alternate routes? A protocol for, we won't get separated, Derek repeated harder this time. Stay in formation. Stay on comms. Follow my lead. That's the protocol. Maya held his gaze for a moment, then nodded. Understood, Brock smirked. Relax, new girl. This isn't a SEAL mission. It's a babysitting gig. A few guys chuckled. Maya said nothing, but her fingers tapped once against the table. A tiny movement. Barely noticeable, except to someone trained to notice everything. They rolled out at 0600 on Saturday. 2 black SUVs, tinted windows, reinforced frames. The kind of vehicles that looked normal but could take a hit. Maya sat in the back seat of the second vehicle. Brock drove. Mendez rode shotgun. He was quiet, older, former Marine, one of the few who didn't go out of his way to mock her. The radio crackled. Derek's voice came through. Lead to 2. We're picking up the package now. Stand by. Copy, Brock replied. They waited outside a brick apartment complex near the University of Virginia. Students walked by with backpacks and coffee cups, oblivious. 5 minutes later, Derek emerged with Emily Harmon. She wore jeans, a sweatshirt, sunglasses. Looked like any other college kid. She didn't seem scared. Just annoyed. She climbed into the lead vehicle. Doors slammed. Engines rumbled. Lead to 2. We're moving. Stay tight. Copy that, Brock said. And just like that, they were rolling. The first hour was smooth. Interstate 64 heading west. Light traffic. Clear skies. The rain had stopped. Maya sat quietly, eyes scanning. She watched the cars around them. Noted the patterns. The white sedan that stayed 3 cars back for 20 minutes. The truck that changed lanes every time they did, probably nothing, but probably wasn't good enough. Brock, she said quietly. White sedan, 4 cars back. Been tailing us since Charlottesville. Brock glanced in the rearview mirror. So it's a highway. Lots of people going the same direction. He's matching our speed. Hasn't exited. Hasn't passed, Brock sighed. You want me to call it in? Tell Derek we've got a suspicious Honda Civic? Mendez glanced back at Maya. You really think it's something? Maya hesitated. I think it's worth noting, Brock laughed. Noted. White Civic, very scary. He didn't call it in. Maya watched the sedan for another 10 minutes. Then it exited near Waynesboro. She exhaled slowly. Maybe she was being paranoid. Maybe this really was just a babysitting gig. They stopped once. A gas station outside Staunton. Quick bathroom break. Derek kept Emily in the vehicle. 5 minutes, he barked over the radio. In and out. Brock and Mendez went inside. Maya stayed with the SUV, eyes moving, scanning the lot. The tree line. The road old habits. Through the window, she saw Emily scrolling on her phone, bored, oblivious. Maya's chest tightened. She'd protected people like this before. High-value targets, diplomats, civilians. People who didn't understand how close danger could get. How fast everything could go wrong. She'd lost one once, a journalist in Syria. Maya's team had been assigned to extract him from a rebel-held city. They'd gotten him out of the building. Gotten him to the vehicle. Gotten him 5 blocks away. Then the IED went off. Maya survived. The journalist didn't. She still saw his face sometimes. Late at night, when the apartment was too quiet, she shook the memory away. This wasn't Syria. This was Virginia. A highway. A routine transport. Nothing was going to happen. Brock and Mendez returned. They rolled again. 20 miles later, the radio crackled. Led to 2. We've got a vehicle approaching fast from behind. Black pickup. Tinted windows. Hang back and let him pass. Copy, Brock said. Maya turned in her seat. The pickup was coming up quick. Too quick, her instincts flared. Brock, I see it, he muttered. The pickup roared past them, then past the lead vehicle, then disappeared over a hill. Silence. Probably just some redneck in a hurry, Brock said. But Maya's heart was beating faster now. Something felt off. Led to 2. Derek's voice came through again. We're coming up on Route 220, switching to back roads per the route plan. Stay close. Copy. They exited the highway. The road narrowed. Trees pressed in on both sides. Fewer cars, fewer witnesses. Maya's pulse quickened. Brock, she said carefully, I don't like this. We should stay on the interstate. More visibility. More options if what? Brock snapped. If the boogeyman jumps out of the woods? Mendez glanced back at her. Route was planned in advance. Derek knows what he's doing. Maya bit her tongue. Maybe they were right. Maybe she was overthinking. Or maybe they were walking into a trap. It happened 5 miles down the back road. The lead vehicle rounded a curve. Then brake lights flared. Laid to 2, tree down. Roads blocked. We're backing up to gunfire, sharp, loud, unmistakable, pop, 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 pop. Contact. Contact! Derek's voice exploded over the radio. We're taking fire. Multiple shooters. 2, get up here now. Brock's face went white. He slammed the gas. The SUV lurched forward. Maya's training kicked in instantly. She drew her sidearm, checked the mag, scanned for threats. "Mendez, call it in," Brock shouted. "Get local PD on the line." Mendez grabbed his phone. "No signal. We're in a dead zone." "Then use the sat phone. It's in the lead vehicle." More gunfire, screaming over the radio. Maya's mind raced. She could see it all playing out. The ambush, the blocked road, the dead zone. This wasn't random. This was planned. They rounded the curve. The lead vehicle sat sideways across the road. Doors open, bullet holes spider-webbed across the windshield. 3 men in ski masks fired from the tree line. Rifles, semi-auto, controlled bursts. Derek and his team were pinned behind the vehicle, returning fire. But Maya's eyes went straight to the back door. It was open. Emily was gone. "They took her." Derek's voice roared over the radio. They grabbed the package. "Two, we need—" A bullet punched through Brock's windshield. He screamed. Jerked the wheel. The SUV swerved, slammed into a tree. Maya's head snapped forward. Pain exploded in her shoulder. Everything went silent for a moment. Ringing ears. Blurred vision. Then Mendez groaned beside her. Blood ran down his face from a gash on his forehead. Brock wasn't moving. Maya blinked. Shook her head. Forced herself to focus. She kicked open her door and rolled out, weapon up. Gunfire still echoed. Shouting. Chaos. And somewhere in those woods, they had Emily. Maya's breath steadied. Her vision cleared, and for the first time since she'd joined this team, she stopped pretending. She moved. Maya moved like water, smooth, silent, deadly. She cleared the crashed SUV and dropped into a low crouch, weapon up, eyes scanning. 3 shooters in the tree line. Derek and his team pinned down. Brock unconscious. Mendez bleeding. And Emily Harmon somewhere in those woods with armed kidnappers. The math was simple. The odds were bad, but Maya had faced worse. She keyed her radio. "Torres to lead, I'm moving to flank." "Suppress the tree line." "What?" Derek's voice crackled back. "Torres, stay in cover." "That's an order." She didn't respond. She was already moving. Maya cut left into the woods, low and fast. Her body remembered the patterns. The training. Thousands of hours drilled into muscle memory until thinking wasn't necessary. Move. Breathe. Assess. Engage. She circled wide, using the terrain. Trees for cover, shadows for concealment. Her boots barely made a sound on the wet leaves. 30 seconds later, she had an angle. The closest shooter was 20 yards out, focused on the disabled vehicles. He wore a black tactical vest, ski mask, holding an AR-15. Amateur grip, sloppy stance, not military. Not professional, dangerous, but beatable. Maya raised her pistol. Controlled her breathing. Squeezed. The shot cracked through the air. The man went down. The other 2 shooters spun toward the sound, confused. They'd been expecting return fire from the road, not from their flank. Maya didn't give them time to adjust. She moved again, already shifting position. Drew their attention. Made herself a target just long enough to pull them away from Derek's team. One of them opened fire. Bullets chewed through bark and leaves. But Maya was already gone, rolling behind a thick oak. "Who the hell is that?" She heard one of them shout. "Doesn't matter. Find the girl and go." So they were on a clock. That was useful. Maya keyed her radio again. "Lead, they're splitting up." 2 still engaged. At least one more took Emily deeper into the woods. "I'm pursuing." "Torres, wait for backup." "Don't." She switched off the radio. No time for debate. No time for orders. Emily had maybe a 3-minute head start. Every second Maya waited was another second they got farther away. She moved deeper into the forest. Derek couldn't believe what he was seeing. One moment, the new girl, the one who barely spoke, who they'd all written off as dead weight, was sitting in a crashed vehicle. The next, she was in the woods, dropping hostiles like she'd done it 1,000 times before. Did she just... Ramirez stared. Wide-eyed. She flanked them, Kowalski breathed. She actually flanked them. Derek's mind raced. He'd seen the way she moved. The precision, the control. That wasn't luck. That wasn't adrenaline, that was training, real training. "Ramirez, Kowalski, with me," Derek barked. "We're going after Torres. Mendez, stay with Brock. Get on the sat phone if you can find it. Call this in. Mendez nodded, clutching his bleeding head. Derek and the others pushed into the woods, but Maya was already gone. Maya tracked them by sound. Broken branches. Heavy footsteps. Labored breathing. They weren't trying to be quiet. They were trying to be fast. Mistake. She closed the distance in under 2 minutes. Through the trees, she saw them. 2 men. One dragged Emily by the arm. She was fighting, trying to slow them down. Smart girl. The second man kept looking back, rifle ready. Maya stayed low, circled around, got ahead of them. Then she stepped into their path. Both men froze. Emily's eyes went wide. Let her go, Maya said calmly. Her weapon was aimed center mass on the closest man. The man holding Emily laughed. You serious? There's 2 of us. 1 of you. You really want to? Maya shot him in the leg. He screamed and went down. Emily scrambled away. The second man raised his rifle. But Maya was faster. 2 shots. Chest. He dropped. The whole thing took 3 seconds. Emily stood there, shaking, staring at Maya like she'd just seen a ghost. Are you hurt? Maya asked. Emily shook her head. No words, just shock. Stay behind me. We're getting you out of here. Maya moved forward, checked both men. Disarmed them. Zip-tied their hands with flex cuffs from her belt. The one she'd shot in the leg was groaning, conscious. The other wasn't moving. She grabbed Emily's arm gently. We need to move. Now, can you run? Emily nodded. They ran. Derek and his team found them 60 seconds later. They came crashing through the brush, weapons drawn, and stopped dead when they saw the scene. 2 men on the ground. Maya standing over them. Emily safe behind her. What the? Kowalski whispered. Derek's eyes moved from the downed men to Maya. Her stance, her grip, the way she held her weapon. Professional, confident, unshaken. Torres. Derek said slowly. What the hell are you? Maya met his eyes. Right now? I'm the person who just saved your package. She walked past him, guiding Emily toward the road. Derek stood there for a moment. Then he turned to Ramirez. Secure these 2. Kowalski, sweep the perimeter. Make sure there aren't more. On it, they replied, but their eyes kept drifting back to Maya. Derek followed her. By the time they reached the vehicles, local police and ambulances were arriving. Mendez had managed to get a signal and called it in. Brock was awake, groggy, being checked by a paramedic. Emily was wrapped in a blanket, giving her statement to a deputy. She kept looking over at Maya. Derek approached. Torres, a word. Maya turned. Her face was calm, unreadable. They stepped away from the others. I need you to tell me the truth, Derek said quietly. And I mean the real truth. Who are you? Maya was silent for a moment, weighing her options, weighing how much to say. Finally, she spoke. I'm someone who did a job for a long time, a hard job, and when I was done, I tried to walk away. What kind of job? The kind that doesn't exist on paper. Derek's jaw tightened. You were military. Yes, what branch? Maya hesitated. Then by Navy. Navy, Derek repeated. His eyes narrowed. Doing what? She didn't answer, but Derek was already putting it together. The way she moved. The shooting. The tactics. The calm under fire. You weren't just Navy, he said slowly. You were... He couldn't even finish the sentence. Maya looked him in the eye. I was a lot of things. None of them matter anymore. The hell they don't. Derek's voice rose. You let us think you were nobody. You let us treat you like I didn't belong? Maya's voice was quiet, sharp. Yeah, I did. Because I wanted to see what kind of team I was joining. I wanted to see if you were professionals or just a bunch of guys reliving their glory days. Derek flinched. And now you know? Maya continued. I didn't need to prove anything to you. I just needed to do the job. And I did. She turned to walk away. Wait, Derek called after her. She stopped. How many years? What? How many years were you in? Maya glanced back. 8. And you were really... He still couldn't say it out loud. Maya's expression softened. Just a little. Yeah, I really was, Derek exhaled. Ran a hand through his hair. Why didn't you tell us? Would it have mattered? He wanted to say yes. He wanted to say they would have treated her differently. With respect. As an equal. But he couldn't. Because he knew the truth. They wouldn't have believed her. Maya saw the realization cross his face. That's what I thought, she said softly. She walked back toward Emily. An hour later, the scene was secured. FBI arrived. Federal agents swarmed the area. The 2 surviving attackers were taken into custody. The one Maya had killed was bagged and photographed. Turned out the men were part of a fringe militia group. The online stalker, Patriot 76, was their leader. They'd been planning this for weeks, tracking Emily's schedule, studying the routes, waiting for the right moment. If Maya hadn't acted when she did, Emily would be in a basement somewhere. Or worse. The lead FBI agent shook Maya's hand. You did good work today, Ms. Torres, really good. Just doing my job, Maya said. Well, the senator wants to thank you personally. She's flying in tonight, Maya nodded. That's not necessary. Maybe not. But she's insisting. As the agent walked away, Brock approached. He had a bandage on his head and looked pale, shaken. Hey, he said quietly. Maya turned. You all right? Yeah, he swallowed. Look, I owe you an apology. Maya raised an eyebrow. I was a jerk, Brock continued. We all were. We assumed you were, I don't know. Not one of us. And we were wrong, really wrong. You were scared, Maya said simply. It's fine, it's not fine. You saved my life. You saved all of us, he extended his hand. Thank you. Maya looked at his hand, then took it. You're welcome. Brock walked away, shaking his head like he still couldn't believe it. Kowalski and Ramirez approached next, then Mendez. One by one, they came to her, apologized, thanked her. Derek was the last. The company's gonna want a full debrief, he said. And they're gonna have questions. I'm sure they will. Torres, Maya. He corrected himself. I don't know what you were running from. I don't know why you left the teams, but if you want a place here, you've got one. As an equal. Hell, as a lead if you want it. Maya smiled faintly. I appreciate that, but I don't know if this is where I belong. Derek nodded slowly. I get it, just think about it, okay? Okay, he walked away. Maya stood alone by the tree line, watching the sun dip below the horizon. Emily approached, blanket still wrapped around her shoulders. Hey, she said softly. Hey. I never got to thank you. Really thank you. You don't have to. Yes, I do. Emily's eyes were red. She'd been crying. Those men were going to kill me. I know they were. And you stopped them. You saved my life. Maya didn't know what to say. My mom told me someone on the security team was former special operations, Emily continued. But I didn't think... I didn't know it was a woman. Maya finished. Emily nodded. Yeah, Maya looked at her. Really looked at her. This young woman who'd been through hell today. Who'd survived because Maya had done what she was trained to do. Listen to me, Maya said. You're stronger than you think. You fought back. You slowed them down. You gave me time to find you. You saved yourself too. Emily's lip trembled. Then she stepped forward and hugged Maya. Maya stiffened. She wasn't used to this gratitude, physical affection. But slowly, she hugged her back. When Emily finally pulled away, she was smiling through tears. You're a hero, she whispered. Maya shook her head. I'm just someone who showed up. But as Emily walked back to the ambulances, Maya felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Purpose. The company headquarters in Richmond was nothing like the field. Polished floors, glass walls, conference rooms with city views. Maya sat in one of those rooms 3 days after the ambush. Across from her sat 3 people. Derek, the company's director of operations, and a woman in a dark suit who introduced herself as Linda Marsh, head of HR. On the table between them sat a folder. Maya knew what was in it. Her real file, the one the Navy had finally released after the FBI started asking questions. Linda opened it slowly. Her expression was unreadable. Maya Torres, she began, enlisted in the United States Navy at age 20. Completed basic underwater demolition SEAL training at age 22. One of 12 women to ever complete the program. One of only 6 to be fully operational. She looked up. Is that correct? Maya nodded. Yes, ma'am, Linda continued. Served 8 years. 3 deployments, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria. Classified operations in... She stopped. Well, locations that are redacted. 16 commendations. 2 bronze stars, a silver star, and a purple heart. The director of operations, a man named Hutchins, leaned forward. Why didn't you tell us any of this when you applied? Maya met his eyes. Because it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter? Hutchins looked stunned. You're one of the most highly trained operatives in the country. You could write your own ticket anywhere. Why hide it? Because everywhere I go, people either don't believe me or they treat me like a circus act, Maya said quietly. I wanted to be judged on what I could do, not on what I used to be. Linda studied her. And you thought we wouldn't hire you if we knew. I thought you'd hire me for the wrong reasons. Or not at all. Derek shifted in his seat. For what it's worth, she was right to be cautious. We didn't exactly make her feel welcome. Hutchins shot him a look. That's being addressed, is it? Maya asked. Because I've been in this industry for 6 months now. 3 different companies. Same story every time. I walk in, they see a woman, and they assume I'm a liability. They give me the easy jobs, the safe jobs. They tell me to watch and learn. Her voice hardened. I didn't spend 8 years in hell to watch from the sidelines. Silence filled the room. Linda closed the folder. Ms. Torres, the reason we called you here isn't to reprimand you. It's to offer you a promotion. Maya blinked. A what? We want you to lead a new division. High-risk protective details. You'd recruit your own team. Train them your way. Set the standards. Linda leaned forward. We've been trying to break into the federal contracting space for years. With someone of your credentials leading the charge, we'd actually have a shot. Maya stared at her. You want me to lead? Yes. After I lied on my application? You didn't lie, Hutchins said. You just didn't tell us everything. There's a difference. He paused. Look, what you did out there, that was exceptional. You saved lives. You kept your head when everyone else was panicking. That's exactly the kind of person we need in leadership. Maya looked at Derek. What do you think? Derek smiled. It was genuine, warm. I think you'd be insane to turn it down, and I think anyone who works for you will be lucky as hell. Maya sat back in her chair. Her mind raced. Leadership, her own team, her own rules. It was everything she'd walked away from and everything she'd been missing. Can I think about it? She asked. Linda nodded. Take the week. But Maya, we really hope you say yes. That evening, Maya sat in her apartment. The same bare walls, the same duffel bag in the corner. But something felt different. Her phone buzzed. A text from her sister. Saw the news. That was you, wasn't it? Maya hesitated. Then typed back, yeah, 3 dots appeared. Then, I'm proud of you. Maya stared at the words. Her throat tightened. Another text came through. This one from a number she didn't recognize. This is Emily Harmon. I hope it's okay that I got your number from my mom. I just wanted to say thank you again. You changed my life. If you ever need anything, I mean anything, please let me know. Maya smiled. Typed back, just stay safe. That's all I need. The last message was from Derek. Drinks tomorrow night. The whole team. You're invited. No pressure. But we'd like to do this right. Maya stared at the message for a long time, then she typed, I'll be there. The bar was a dive. Neon signs. Sticky floors. The kind of place where nobody asked questions. Perfect. Maya walked in at 8. The team was already there. Derek, Brock, Kowalski, Ramirez, Mendez. Even a few others from the company she'd seen around but never worked with. When she entered, the whole table stood up, applause, not loud, not showy, just respectful. Maya felt her cheeks flush. Guys, come on, sit down, Derek said, grinning. He pulled out a chair for her. She sat. A beer appeared in front of her. Brock raised his glass. To Maya, the baddest woman any of us have ever met. Here, the others echoed. They drank. For the first time in months, Maya felt like she belonged. Okay, you gotta tell us, Kowalski said, leaning forward. What was it like? The SEAL training? I heard it's the hardest thing in the military. Maya sipped her beer. It was hard. Come on, give us more than that, she smiled. All right. Imagine the worst day of your life. Then imagine doing that every day for 6 months, and then imagine that's just the beginning. Did they go easier on you because you were? No, Maya said firmly. They went harder. I had to be twice as good to be considered half as capable. Ramirez shook his head. I can't even imagine. Most people can't, Maya said. That's okay. It's not for everyone. Why'd you leave? Mendez asked quietly. The table went silent. Maya stared at her beer. She'd known this question would come eventually. I lost someone, she said finally, a person I was supposed to protect. It wasn't my fault. The debrief said so. My CO said so. But I couldn't shake it. Every mission after that, I kept seeing his face. I kept thinking, what if I miss something? What if I fail again? She looked up. So I walked away. Figured I'd done enough. Figured I deserved a normal life. And, Derek asked gently, and normal is harder than I thought. She laughed, but it was hollow. Turns out I don't know how to be anything other than what I was trained to be. Brock leaned forward. So be that. Be the badass who saves lives. Just do it with us. Maya looked around the table. These men who'd mocked her, dismissed her, underestimated her, and who now looked at her with something she hadn't seen in a long time. Respect. I got offered a promotion, she said. Leading a new division. Derek grinned. I know, Hutchins told me. You gonna take it? I don't know. Part of me wants to. Part of me thinks I should just disappear, move somewhere quiet, get a dog, grow tomatoes, Kowalski snorted. You tomatoes? No offense, but you'd be bored out of your mind in a week. Maybe. Maya smiled. But it sounds nice, doesn't it? It sounds like giving up, Derek said. And you're not a quitter. Maya met his eyes. How do you know? Because quitters don't run into gunfire to save a stranger. They don't take down armed kidnappers with a pistol and guts. They don't earn a silver star. He leaned back. You're not running from your past, Maya. You're running from yourself. And that's a fight you'll never win. His words hit her like a punch because he was right. She'd been running, not from the Navy, not from the SEALs, from the part of herself that thrived in chaos, that needed the mission, the purpose, the part that felt most alive when everything was on the line. Okay, she said quietly. Okay. What? Brock asked. Okay, I'll take the job. She raised her glass. But I'm doing it my way. And if any of you want to join me, you follow my rules. No shortcuts, no egos. No underestimating people based on how they look. Clear? Derek grinned. Crystal. I'm in, Brock said immediately. Me too, Kowalski added. One by one, they all nodded. Maya felt something warm spread through her chest. Not just respect, brotherhood, the thing she'd missed most. 2 weeks later, Maya stood in front of a new team. 12 recruits, men and women. All backgrounds, all branches. She'd interviewed each one personally. Not about their resumes, about their character. My name is Maya Torres, she began, and I'm going to be honest with you. This job is going to be hard. Harder than you think. You're going to be tired, sore, frustrated. Some of you won't make it. She paused. But if you do, you'll be part of something that matters. You'll protect people who can't protect themselves. You'll stand between the innocent and the evil, and you'll do it with honor. She looked each of them in the eye. I don't care where you came from. I don't care what you did before. All I care about is what you do now. Show up, work hard, have each other's backs. Do that and we'll be fine. One of the recruits, a young woman, raised her hand. Yes, Maya said. Is it true you were a Navy SEAL? Maya smiled. Yes, what was it like? It was the hardest thing I've ever done. And the most important, the young woman nodded. Her eyes shone with determination. Maya saw herself in that look, and she knew she'd made the right choice. 6 months later, Maya's division had become the most requested unit in the company. They'd run 30 missions, 0 failures, 0 losses, word spread. Other companies tried to poach her, offered more money, better benefits. She turned them all down because she'd finally found what she'd been searching for. A place where she wasn't judged by her past or her gender. A place where all that mattered was the work, and she was damn good at the work. One evening, Derek found her in the training room running drills alone. You know, you're allowed to go home sometimes, he said. Maya smiled. I know, just like to stay sharp. You're the sharpest person I've ever met. He sat down on a bench. I wanted to apologize for how we treated you in the beginning. You already did. Yeah, but I don't think I really meant it. Not the way I should have. He looked at her. You were right. We saw a woman and assumed you couldn't hack it. That was wrong. Worse than wrong. It was disrespectful to everything you'd done, Everything you'd sacrificed, Maya sat beside him. You weren't the first. You won't be the last. Maybe. But we should have been better. He paused. For what it's worth, you've made me better. Made all of us better. Good, Maya said. That's the point. They sat in comfortable silence. You ever regret it? Derek asked. Leaving the teams? Maya thought about it. Sometimes. But then I remember why I left. And I remember that I'm still doing the work, just differently. You miss it? Parts of it. The mission, the clarity, knowing exactly what you're supposed to do. She smiled. But this? Building something new? That's pretty fulfilling too. Derek stood. Well, for what it's worth, I'm glad you're here. Me too. He left. Maya sat alone in the quiet gym. She thought about the girl she used to be. The one who wanted to prove herself. Who needed everyone to see her as strong. That girl was gone. In her place was a woman who knew her worth. Who didn't need validation. Who stood tall not because others believed in her but because she believed in herself. The team had ignored the new girl until she showed them exactly who she was. And now, they'd never forget.